Hello everyone, how are you? Today I want to share with you this fun July 4th card that I made today. Excuse the stains here. Those, due to a mistake, I put something on it I wasn't supposed to, but I'm going to recreate this card with you now. I have a passion for pigs. I love pigs. I love them at the zoos. I also love them with rubber stamps. I have a collection of rubber stamps of just pigs, and one of them is this Happy 4th of July stamp that Hambo made in 2009, and I'm pretty sure I probably bought it that year at a stamp show that I went to with my friend Sue, and this is one of those stamps that I just will not get rid of. I can only use it once a year, but I'm sure you guys have some stamp like this that is in your arsenal and you will never get rid of. Let me know if you have something like that in the comments below. This card actually, after my love of rubber stamps of pigs, this actually doesn't use a rubber stamp. This is a digital image from the Painted Americana Clip Art set from KCS Designs by Kim. She has an Etsy store, and I'm going to take you through how to make this card. It comes together really quickly. You will need, I am using 2 stitched rectangle dies. This is from a stitched rectangle die set number 1 from Pink and Maine. I'll link everything below or on the corresponding blog post, which I will probably put together also. So you're going to need red, white, and blue cardstock. Okay, and I am using an embossing folder of stars. This is called Lots of Stars. It's from Tailored Expressions. I picked this up a while ago. They no longer have this on their website, so it's not being sold. But I'm sure if you have kids or if you make July 4th cards, you probably have some sort of embossing folder with stars. So you can just swap that out, swap this one out, and use whatever star embossing folder you have. If you don't have the stitched rectangle dies, you can just cut the paper, and I'll give you the sizes when we get to it. So let's get into this. So I made an A2 card. Okay, I just used white cardstock. If you want to use the blue, that's fine. You can do that. I'm just trying to save cardstock. White is much more abundant here. So this is a 4 1/4 across, 11 inches down. I put this into my scoring tool and I scored it 5 1/2 to give me a top folding A2 card base. This is your normal card base. Then using my red, white, and blue paper, I used this die. This is the largest die in the kit. This is an A2 size. It's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I die cut a piece of the navy blue. Okay, using the next step down, this one is 3 3/4 by 5 inches, and I die cut the red and the white paper, the cardstock, using that. And then I ran all 3 of these through my Big Shot machine with the Lots of Stars embossing folder. Now, I'm going to give you a little tip. For the red and the white, I layer them on top of each other, okay? I put them in my embossing folder, and I set up where I wanted it to be. I ran it through my machine, okay? Holding this down, I removed the top color, which I think was the red, and then I ran it through again with just the white, just so that the red and the white would have the same depth of the stars, okay? Once that's done, we're going to start with the card base, okay? So I'm going to adhere this navy blue right to the card base with some glue. You can use double-sided tape if you have any. I normally use the tape, but for the video, I'm just going to make a mess here with some glue. And I'm just going to put this right on top of the white. Kind of line this up nicely. Where are my baby wipes when I need them? Okay. So we got the first layer here. We got the blue. It is raining here. Everything is moist. I don't like that. Okay, so we got the blue layer done. Now, with the red and the white, you will need a piece of Scotch tape. Well, you don't need it. I'm using it, and I'll show you in a second. So I'm just gonna cut the piece of Scotch tape. And this is one of those removable tapes. Okay, so it's not going to really stick to the card. But what I want to do is, you're going to be able to run this over the white, and at some point, you're going to feel it kind of lock in with the stars, the embossed stars in the red are going to lock in on the white, okay? It could be here, it could be a little bit further down. I kind of like this to be about 1 1/4 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this here, I'm going to turn this over, I'm going to secure this with the tape, I'm going to flip the white back over, and then I'm just going to either I'm going to use glue, but you can use, again, double-sided tape. And then I'm just going to flip this back over. Just make sure that it's locked in. I don't know why my white is just a smidge different. I'm just going to trim that off as soon as this sets a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is remove the tape. I'm going to come in with my... Now, since we know that this is 4 1/4, I'm just going to trim this down to 4 1/4 to remove... Wait, what's going on? I'm sorry, 3 3/4. I was thinking this was a different size die. So 3 3/4. I'm gonna just trim that off. We don't need that. And I'm gonna come back over here. Don't know why this happened. Let's get this out of the way. So for some reason, my white cardstock is just like 1/16 longer. I'm just going to trim this off. The red on the top. Okay. So now we have our red and white. Let me just trim this off here too. Okay. So now what I've also done is I use fun foam here a lot. I've talked about this in other videos. If you don't have any fun foam, you can use foam tape if you want to. I just like to raise it up a little bit. You can adhere this right to the card front if you want to. Okay, I'm going to throw a weight on there. But I like to use the fun foam to bring the card up just a little bit. It's really affordable here, much more affordable than any foam tapes. So I'm just going to put some glue here. I find that glue works better with fun foam. You can use double-sided tape, but sometimes it's harder to get the tape backing off of the tape when you're dealing with fun foam. Okay, so we got the fun foam on there. And I always cut, so my card is 3 3/4 by 5. I always cut my fun foam just like 1/16 of an inch smaller than my card that I'm layering it on so that it doesn't pop out the side. And also, if you use fun foam with any dyes, this fun foam tends to stretch a little bit, so you have to keep that in mind if you're doing that. And then I'm just going to adhere this to the card front. I have a blog post with photos and directions, a step-by-step, and links to everything I used to make this card. I will have that linked below. Okay, we're just going to adhere this to the card front. When Kim of KCS Designs by Kim came out with this collection, I think it's, I might be wrong, I want to say 30 different, might not be that many, 30 different clip art for the 4th of July. There's a pig, there's a cow, there's your typical 4th of July images. There's even a baseball. It's a really cool baseball. I'll have to do a card using the baseball. And everything is red, white, and blue with some stars. But when I saw the pig, I was like, oh my God, I have to have that. Okay, so to break up the red and the white, I cut a piece of the same blue cardstock that I'm using here. This is a 1/2 inch by 5 inches because it's just going to adhere over here. So for this, I guess we'll use some glue. I was going to grab my tape, but this is faster. So even though I live in Brazil, I have always loved making 4th of July cards. I really do miss 4th of July, especially in New York. I remember the city used to empty out, and we would go on, I lived in Astoria, and we would go on the roof of the apartment building with our neighbors, and we would just watch the fireworks over the East River. It was such a cool time. I miss 4th of July. But I still love making the cards. So got the strip down, so now we still have our red, white, and blue. What I did was after I printed this at 50%, because when you double click on the image, I think it's gonna come up at 100%. So you can change the percentage, the size of the image that you want to print. So I printed this at 50%. I fussy cut it. And then I went around the edge. You can use black. I like to use this gray. This is an N65 Tombow brush marker. I just like to go around the edge so that you hide the white cardstock that it was printed on, okay? So I've already done that. So now I am going to position that here. I also went and I stamped my Happy 4th of July stamp. I stamped it on a piece of white cardstock. I cut it out using a stitched banner die, and then I laid it on a piece of the blue cardstock, and we will attach this in just a second. So I'm just going to remove the foam tape backing here. Whoop, come on. I should have done this earlier, but. So for you guys watching in the States, what do you do for July 4th? Oh my God, the beach. I miss this holiday. I can't believe that the United States is going to be 250 years old. It's kind of crazy. Okay, so I have removed almost all the tape backings. Come on. Let's go. Okay, got that one. I'm just going to position the little pig here. I'm not going to push it down too much yet because I just want to make sure I'm going to have enough room. Okay, so I'm going to add some glue on the back here. I'm going to just slip this under my image, line it up with the white cardstock, make sure it's straight, And then I will push down on the foam squares, and this will hold the image in place also. Let's see. Oop, let's just push this up a little bit. Okay, so we got our sentiment, our pig, red, white, and blue. We got our stars. To finish this off, I was looking for gold stars, but I don't have any. But I do have this collection from Eyelet Outlet, these enamel dots, and I have some red, white, and blue stars here. I will link this below also if they still have it. Just so you know, this video is being made in June of 2026. And I found out the other day that Eyelet Outlet is actually going out of business. So you might want to check out their website for any deals going on. If you need, they used to have a ton of washi tapes and enamel dots. So go grab them if you can. So I'm just going to kind of copy my first card here. I'm just going to grab a red, a white, and a blue. And I'm just going to add these right onto the card. And I'll grab a white one here. It's not really white, but it'll have to do. And that's it. We are done. Look at that. How cute is that? Come on, this is adorable. And you just write your message on the inside. Anyway, thank you so much for stopping by today. I hope you like this card idea. I'd love to know what you think of it. Leave me a comment below. Subscribe to my channel if you like what I'm doing here. And I will see you back here again very soon. Take care, everyone, and stay safe.